I will be on camera until you all are on, and then I'm off camera. That's all I can say. Well, if they're doing that budget adjustment, do you want me to go ahead and put the supplies that I have for Gainesville in? I didn't catch all of it. Here, let me get myself here.
We'll get started. We will go ahead and start our webinar. Marcia, thank you again for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Brand Your Business Online in 4 Steps. My name is Paula McCain. I'm a recovery business advisor for North Central Texas Small Business Development Center, and I'm a Libra.
Me too.
The SBDC is a leading provider of assistance for small businesses. We're grant funded, and that allows us to offer our services like today's webinar to you at no cost. This is the 16th in our COVID-19 funded presentation. A little bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions during the presentations, please put them in the chat room and we'll address those at the end of Marcia's discussion. Marcia Hudson is a social media and branding specialist. She's working for the University of Houston SBDC since 2015, teaching social media and digital marketing. She is a professor of English at Wharton County Junior College. That's kind of hard to say. In Sugar Land. And she received her degree of education specialist from Walden University, attended Sam Houston University and University of Houston. She's a professional photographer with her husband, specializing in branding, headshots, lifestyle, and real estate photography. Marcia, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. So, are we ready to get started?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so I am so excited to be here today, and I am so thankful for the North Central Texas Small Business Development Center for having me today. So I hope that all of you who've joined us today, I hope you're ready to learn so much to brand and build and grow your business online in just 4 steps. So relax, get a pen and paper. You can feel free to take screenshots with your phone because we are going to get started. So let's start with brand your business
So
online.
Marcia, just real quick, we're not seeing your screen. Are you sharing it?
Yep. Let me see.
There we
it is.
go.
Can you see it?
Yes, we
Yes, ma'am.
can.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, so we're going to get started. Brand your business online in just 4 steps. So get a pen, get some paper, and let's get started. So I want to give a special thanks to the North Central Texas Small Business
Meeting. Can I call you back?
Development Center.
Okay.
And I want to thank them for having me today. And I want to also thank all of you for spending a little time with us as we move forward in the webinar today. So relax. Stay to the end because we will have Q&A. So be sure and write your questions down and save them to the end. And I'm also going to have some free resources for you. So grab your pen and paper and let's move. So, what do you really want for your business in 2021? And I talk to so many people all of the time, business owners, entrepreneurs, and I ask them, what does success look like? And it looks different to different people. So, some people tell me, I want to get more leads. That's what success would look like for them. And that's what growth would look like for their business in 2021. Some people say, well, I want to be financially stable. Others have told me, well, I want my business to thrive. Some people see success as just living a calm and peaceful life. Others say, well, I want to take care of my family, or I want to write a book so I can have credibility. I want to start or revamp a business. Some people are just starting a business, and ultimately people tell me, I really want to be successful in 2021. So success looks different for each person, each business owner, each entrepreneur. So as we move forward through the webinar today, this training, I want you to think about, what is it that you see success in your life? And so I really do like quotes and sayings, and I put them all around my computer area so that I can see them every day as a small business owner. And here's one of my favorites from Jim Rohn. And he says, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced each day. And so I thought about that and I said, when we actually spend a few minutes each day doing something to grow our business, we're actually on the road to success. It doesn't have to be big or large or overwhelming. And oftentimes when I'm working with clients, they're like, I'm overwhelmed. I need to do this, I need to do that. And I'm like, you know what? Just do a few simple disciplines and practice them every day. And that will lead you on the road to success, whether it's watching a webinar like this one, or listening to a podcast, or watching a YouTube video, something even for just 20 minutes that will grow your business and help you get to where you want to be. So I have been a business owner for quite a while, and I realized that it really isn't about me or you as the business owner. And people say, well, Marsha, what do you do? And what I do is I help other businesses be successful. So it's all about our customers, guys. It's always all about our customers. The lady gave me a wonderful introduction a few minutes ago, but those are nice that I've done these things and I have these things, but it really isn't about me. It is about our customers. And so I help business owners develop a strategy to build a successful brand online without being confused and overwhelmed. Because when I started meeting people and talking about, well, what is your biggest challenge with social media? And they're like, well, I'm confused and I'm overwhelmed. So I decided I want to make sure I teach social media, digital marketing, whereas my customers are not confused and overwhelmed. So I will ask you, now you guys know I'm a professor, so I'm a teacher, so I like to give a few little assignments. I will ask you to think about, what is it that you do for your customers? What is it that you can do to help them in their businesses be better? Or how can your products or services help them? So maybe you want to write down a mission statement like this. And this is what this is. It's a one sentence mission statement. And I always encourage business owners and entrepreneurs to write down a one sentence business statement on how you help your customers. So, a little bit about me. I am Marsha Lynn Hudson. And yes, I am a social media and branding strategist, and I love it. And I almost eat, breathe, and sleep social media. My husband was like, do you have any time for me? Because I'm always reading and studying and researching, but I really love it. And I am a SBDC specialist for the SBDC here in Houston, Texas, and they have been wonderful with me since 2015, and I really love working with them. I'm a professor at Warden County Junior College here in Sugar Land, a little suburb of Houston, and I am a professional photographer. My husband and I have a photography and video business, and we do mainly work with business owners with headshots and branding for their websites and in real estate and lifestyle. I created a journal during the pandemic in 2020, Train Your Mind for Success. And as I was studying success, because we want that, I realized in my research we can actually train our minds for success. So I did create a journal, and I do have a course for that also, and you can find that on my website. I love blogging and being a podcaster and a YouTuber. So I do have a podcast, a YouTube channel, and on all of my channels, whether I'm blogging or podcasting or doing YouTube, you're always going to find value, something to help you grow and build your business. It's not about me, it's about you. I am a wife, I love life, and my website, and you can find a lot of information and free resources there at marshalynhudson.com. So, are you ready to know the secret to having a successful business during a pandemic and beyond? Because it is actually attainable to be successful in your business. And it's like I said at the beginning, we see success as different things. Some people may see success as having a side business and bringing in $2,000 a month or $1,500 extra dollars a month, and that may be success for them. Some people may see it as, okay, I need to have 10 or 20 clients a month. But whatever it is that you desire for your business, it is attainable. So let me tell you the secret to actually having a successful business during a pandemic and beyond. And here it is: solve problems. If you can give solutions to your clients' problems, you will have a successful business. Just think about it. I order quite a bit from Amazon, and I will be at home and I may be studying and I may think I need to get a ring light because I need to have light in my corner when I'm giving webinars. So the first thing I did was I went to Amazon and I found a ring light. It came to my home within a day. As you guys know, you can get 1 day delivery. So what happened? I had a problem and it was solved. And that's how we stay successful. So think about your clients' problems and solve them. So if you can offer solutions, you will be successful with your product and your services. So write that down. The secret to being successful is solving the problems, because people don't want to be overwhelmed. They don't want to be confused. Donald Miller writes a book called Building a Story Brand, and it's a great book and I highly recommend it. I don't get a royalty from it. I just think it's a great book for business owners. And Donald Miller says in his book Building a Story Brand, he says that it's not about me. It's not about what I do. It's about how I can solve the problems of my clients. And he says, when we confuse, we lose. So we don't want to confuse people. We want to solve their problems. So let's get into the 4-step buyer's journey. And feel free to take screenshots of the webinar and just get ready to walk away with a few ideas. So in my research over the last few months, I've learned how to turn prospects into customers. And it's actually only a 4-step journey. So I will encourage you to think about, as we move forward through these 4 steps today, what is it that you can do? What step can you add to your business moving forward in the next few days or in the upcoming month? Ask yourself, what if I walk away from this webinar with one idea to grow my business? Or what if I walk away from this webinar or this training today with one change that I need to make that's going to thrust my business to a new level? Because I will tell you this, in this training, you will walk away with at least one idea, even more than one idea, to actually implement to move your business to a new level. So the 4-step for the buyer's journey, the 4 steps include awareness, interest, decision, and action. And we're going to look at these 4 today. All right, so step 1 is awareness. So when we're talking about building our business, growing our business, enlarging our business, we have to be found. We have to be discovered. And there are 3.7 billion people online. Everybody's online. Our culture is going to an online culture. People are shopping online. They're finding businesses online. They're doing so much online. So you have to show up. And oftentimes I'll have people say, well, I don't know how to do social media, or I don't want to do video, or, how do I get started? I feel stuck. Marcia, I feel stuck. What do I do? Well, I want you to see these 8 ways to show up, because you have to show up online. Everybody is online all of the time. So the first step in a buyer's journey is awareness. They have to find out about you. You have to be discovered. So here are some ways to be discovered online. You don't have to do all 8, but you want to pick 1 or 2. So your website is your most valuable marketing tool. And if you don't have a website, you want to get a website. That is your storefront. That is the face of your business. And it doesn't have to have a lot of bells and whistles. And sometimes people will say, well, a website is so expensive, Marcia. Well, in today's society, you can get a website that's not so expensive, maybe with Wix or GoDaddy, or even a WordPress site or a Shopify site. But just having a website is going to create awareness for you. And then Google helps you because it puts you out there for people to find your website. And then, of course, you drive traffic there. So that is your most valuable marketing tool, is the face of your business. And a website doesn't need to start off with too many links. You need an about page, your home page, your contact, your services, and maybe a gallery, of images. That's it. And you have your website there. So secondly is social media. And I tell people you don't have to be on every site on social media. Now, I am a branding strategist. Of course, I'm on every site because that's actually my business. But as a business owner or an entrepreneur, you only actually need to be on one of two sites, and you really want to show up on those two. So you may be on Facebook and Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter, but you don't need to be everywhere because we can't spread ourselves so thin, whereas we're not giving our best to all of our sites. So when you actually set up a site and don't participate, or you're not active, it hurts your business more. So you want to think about maybe two sites that you can actually create awareness on those sites. Email marketing is your best friend. Unlike social media, we don't own social media. Social media can go down. I found that out last week. Social media can ban you. Social media can be shut down, but your email is yours. You own your email. You can send your information to your subscribers' inbox. Email marketing is a great tool for us as business owners. And I tell people you don't have to be overwhelmed with email marketing. You can create emails in 30 minutes with a service provider and templates. You can send an email out twice a month. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. And that's the biggest thing I try to teach my clients, is how to show yourself and show up and create awareness without being overwhelmed and confused, because no one wants that. So social media, you can post 3 days a week, and email marketing you can do twice a month. Podcasting is becoming increasingly popular, and people can learn from podcasting. People want knowledge, and people can ride in the car and listen to your podcast. You're creating awareness. People can be working out on the treadmill and listening to your podcast. So podcasting is becoming increasingly popular, and I actually like podcasting. And so now you can get started podcasting for free with certain software. All you need is your computer, a microphone, and your content. It's so easy to get started with a podcast. Video marketing. I have people saying, Marsha, I am definitely afraid of being in front of the camera. And I get that. And I talk about trying to practice with your phone, trying to get over it, because video will really create awareness for you. And I understand being afraid in front of the camera. When I first started really getting into video marketing, I was like, okay, Marsha, you're teaching this, you need to do it. I made like 50 videos and I deleted them because I was like, okay, I don't like how my hair looks. Okay, I don't like how this looks. But I had to actually get over it. And so now I do quite a bit of video. And basically, you can do short form video. You don't have to be on YouTube and create these huge videos. You can pick up your phone and you can get in front of a window or some light. I'm a photographer, so you get in front of a window or get in front of light. Pick your phone up, hit record, and make a 1 to 2 minute video where you introduce your services or introduce your product and give some value. And then you can just upload that video to Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. It's just that easy. And you can do one video a week, 1 to 2 minutes, right? So blogging is another way to create awareness. Most people add a blog to their website, and basically blogging is like podcasting, but you read the blog, whereas you listen to the podcast. And when you start blogging, you create awareness, and you let people see you as the thought leader that you are. Low cost ads are really going to be a big deal for us as small business owners in 2021. And Facebook and Instagram low cost ads are very good for us to create awareness. I do a training on $5 a day Facebook ad. And if you did 5 days for $5 a day, you spent $25 on a Facebook ad, and Facebook may let 1,000 people see. So these are actual ways to create awareness. And lastly, going live. So when I say going live, you may get in front of Facebook or get in front of your Instagram and actually go live. So these are ways to create awareness. You don't have to do all 8, but you have to do some. And in this 4-step journey, I will say this: you cannot skip a step. If you want your business to be successful, you cannot skip a step. So the first step is awareness in the customer buyer's journey. People have to know about you. So what is the key to creating awareness? Well, it's showing up consistently and giving value. And showing up consistently may be 3 days a week where you actually give value. And we're going to talk about what does that mean, giving value. Okay. So how do you create value? And people say, well, Marcia, what do I post on social media? How do I know I'm creating value now that I've created awareness and people see me, they see my website, or they see me on Facebook or Instagram? I'm creating awareness 3 days a week, right? So I came up with a few questions that my clients could ask themselves to make sure that they are creating value, because you don't want to go on social media and just promote your business and services. Okay. That is the no. Social media is social media, not sales media. And you don't want to just sell every time you post on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. You're selling yourself or your product or your service. No, you want to make sure you're offering value. That's how you get customers to go down this journey. So before I post, I always ask myself these questions. This is how I know I'm creating value. Does this post solve a problem? Okay, so if I go to post to Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram, and I make a post on how to manage your social media in 30 minutes a day, I'm solving a problem, because people are busy. You guys are busy, and you need to be on social media. We have to be on social media. It is not an option, but how do you get it in? So I came up with a 30-minute day plan. So if I posted that on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, Twitter, I know that it's creating value. Secondly, does this post end a pain point? So if someone is really struggling and they can't figure something out and they have this pain point, and your post satisfies that pain point, it helps them, that is creating value. Does this post educate? Quite often on my LinkedIn, my Facebook, my Instagram, I do give a lot of tips and tutorials and how to, and 7 ways to do this. So the post is creating value because I'm educating people on social media, digital marketing, email marketing, everything. And so this is how you know that, okay, this is creating value. Now, notice I still hadn't posted anything about a product. I still hadn't promoted my services. I still hadn't talked about how I'm a consultant. No, I'm creating value in this journey, this customer journey. We have to lead the customer through this 4-step journey. And I will tell you this, it works. So the next question, does this post motivate or inspire? So all of our posts, they do not have to be about business or things like that, but sometimes a motivational saying or an inspirational quote. People really love those. And it helps people when they're having a hard time. I post quite a bit. I do a motivational Monday, and I made a post a few Mondays ago, and it said, it's Monday, let's get up and do this. And I had so many people responding and commenting on it. And then other times I may post an inspirational quote, You can do it. Are you feeling stuck? You can do it. You can make it. And people really like those type of posts, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. People like this. You are taking people through this 4-step journey. And so, does this post show the human side of me as a business owner? And social media is about storytelling, and people do business with people. And so, they want to get to know the business owner. For me, I really enjoy walking. I've already had a morning walk already. And sometimes I will post and let my followers know I'm out for a morning walk. I take a picture. It's a beautiful day. I am letting them see the human side of me. Sometimes on the weekend when I'm studying or researching, I may be at a coffee house here in Houston, and I have my books, I have my coffee, I have my water bottle, I have my pens in front of me, my phone. I may take a picture and post it and show how I'm actually working on my business behind the scenes. People get to know the human side of you. They do business with people, and they like that. So you don't have to tell everything about your life. You can share your passions. You can share your hobbies sometimes. Let people get to see that you are human. I even let people know my struggles. People can't believe it, but sometimes I actually struggle with trying to come up with content. And I share that, how I'm stuck, or how I'm struggling with that. And so let people get to know the human side of you through your posts at times. And lastly, does this post make someone's life easier, better, or happier? This is how you know you are creating value when you post. Now, yes, sometimes you can post about your products or your services. Of course, you're in business, you need to make money, but you want to create value, because when you show up and start creating awareness, people don't know you yet. You're showing yourself to a cold audience, and rarely will a cold audience purchase from you right off the bat. Okay, so this leads us to step 2. So step 1 was creating awareness. So we're all going to start creating awareness, right? In some form from those 8 items that I showed you, at least 3 days a week. You don't have to be on every day. So step 2 is interest. So now that you've created awareness online, you have to keep people's interest, okay? And that's how they keep following you through this customer journey, because we want to get to step 4, the step that we really like, when they take action and become a customer, right? So you have to take them through this journey. People resonate with content. They actually do. They resonate with content they can relate to. People connect with you when they can say, I get it. That person gets me through their content. They know that their lives are better because of your content. We just talked about that. And they gain knowledge or inspiration from your content. This creates interest. So we're keeping the people now in this journey. We're keeping them. So people are like, okay, I discovered this company on Instagram. Okay, I'm interested because I see 3 days a week this company is really giving some great content. So now you have their interest, step 2. So here are the 5 pillars of content that actually create interest, because I have people saying, well, Marcia, what kind of content do I need to actually create this interest? Well, I have 5 pillars that I use and I post from every day. I post 5 to 6 days a week. And I would always post from one of these pillars. That way I don't run out of content. I don't run out of anything to say. And I pretty much know that I'm going to keep my followers' interest. So here's the first pillar, the about and lifestyle pillar. So sometimes I post about me as a business owner, about my lifestyle, my passions, what my why I love this business. So I let people see some of my about posts. A second pillar is the motivation and inspiration post. It's like I said, I normally post from this category on Mondays. It's a motivational Monday or motivational inspirational saying. And I use quotes. I find quotes. I have a book with lots of quotes. I've purchased books with quotes. You can find quotes on Google and you just post it. You pull up your Facebook, you post a motivational quote with an image, or you pull up your Instagram, your Twitter, you post a motivational quote or an inspirational saying. And so that's a great pillar that people like. The third pillar is behind the scenes storytelling. And so you can always go behind the scenes and take a picture and post about something that you're doing in your business. I'm a photographer. So sometimes when I'm shooting a headshot or I'm out shooting a lifestyle scene or a family, I may get my assistant to take a picture and I post about this, how I was doing a photo shoot behind the scenes. I do behind the scenes when I'm working on video. I put up my video camera, my tripod, take a picture and post, this is how I set up for a video. So the next pillar is the education pillar. So you can give tips from this pillar, Q&A from this pillar when you post, advice, all of that. And it doesn't have to be long. It can be 3 tips on how to do something or 1 secret on something. And even in the education pillar, sometimes I post the content that I write, but sometimes I pick up my phone and do a short video from that pillar. And then the last one is showcasing your products and services. Now, I have to laugh sometime with my clients when I'm assessing their social media sites, because I do assess, because you want to make sure they're done correctly before you start getting out there. And I will be assessing their site and I'm saying, okay, I see that you're only posting from the 5th pillar. Okay, you're only posting on Instagram about your products and services. We do not want to just post from the 5th pillar, right? We want to post from all 5 pillars. This is how we keep the interest of people. We lose the interest when all we're doing is promoting our products, promoting our services, trying to get people to buy our product. You will not be able to build interest that way. So here, and you can take a screenshot here if you like. So here I gave a little bit of an example for each pillar. For the about, how you can tell why you started your business. You can share a quote, post about your morning routine and behind the scenes. Like I post about my morning routine. I get up, I have quiet time, I have my coffee, I go for a quick walk. I love it. And sometimes I post about my morning routine. From the education, you can do tips, a Q&A. And of course, you can promote a product or service. It's like I have lots of products and services. But in actuality, when we post from these other pillars, we are actually promoting our products and services. It's just not in a hard sell. Okay. So you don't want all of your posts to be from pillar 5. So we're up to step 3. We're almost at the last part of the customer's journey. So step 3, now a customer is in a decision phase. And if you think about it, we're all like that. I'm like that too as a customer. Before I purchase something or buy something, I have to know that the company exists, right? And secondly, I have to take an interest. And then thirdly, I may start making some decisions. So this is actually a customer's journey, as they go through to the buyer's decision. So what happens in step 3? Now your prospective customer is really thinking about perhaps becoming a customer or using your services. So prospects start making decisions. They start visiting your website because social media is not as detailed as your website. Social media drives people to your website. That's why I said in the beginning, you need a website because that's the face of your business. And remember, it doesn't have to have a lot of bells and whistles. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but you want a place for people to go to. So now they're in this decision phase and they're like, well, let me go check them out a little bit more. And so they go to your website, they see your homepage, they see your about page, about you, they see your services, your contact page. Prospects are wanting to know more about your service. Now they're telling friends. Okay, so they're in this decision mode, and they talk about it with friends. Well, what do you think about this company? What do you think about? Do you think I should use them? Check out their website. And now they may email you to ask a question. They're not at the end of the journey yet, but they're in a decision phase and they may email you. And I tell people, check your email every day. I have some clients that's like, oh, I never check my email. It's like, we have to change that. You have to check your email every day, because what if someone emails you to ask a question and now they realize they need what you offer? So in step 3, they are really thinking about you, your services, and becoming a customer. That's why it's so important to make sure that you're showing up in step 1. You're creating your awareness on your social media or whatever. Make sure your website is up and running, and make sure you're creating interest. So this leads us to the step that we all really like, right? And we're going to get to step 4. So what causes people to make decisions? They know you because you showed up. You created some awareness. They like you now. Remember, we talked about posting, letting people get to know the human side of you. They trust you now because you're consistent. You show up 2 or 3 days every week. It's not that you show up 1 week and you don't show up for 2 weeks. You show up 1 day and you don't show up for 3 weeks. People don't trust inconsistency. Okay. So they know you, they like you, they trust you. Now they want what you offer, which leads us to our last step. I hope you've been keeping your questions and you have your questions ready. But this is the step where, okay, they are taking action. They are ready to become a customer. They are ready to buy from you or purchase from you. And so now you've taken them through this journey. Don't forget, you can't skip a step. Okay. I've been studying this customer's journey for about 6 months and it works, but I do know this: it doesn't work if you skip a step. It just doesn't work if you skip a step. So don't skip the step. So now prospects become customers. They give you their email. Okay. Maybe they become a subscriber. They purchase from you. Maybe they get a product, or if you offer consultations or you've created a course, they purchase from you and they have a great experience, which is really important because we want them to come back, right? And then they become raving fans. I read another book by Pat Flynn, and his book is called Super Fans. It is a great book. And once again, I do not get a royalty from it. These are just great books for business owners. And in his book, he talks about, it's called Super Fans by Pat Flynn. And in his book, he talks about not just having 10,000 fans who ignore you. He said 1,000 super fans is really all you need. And super fans are fans who rave about you and they tell people about you. And so that's what happens in step 4. When you give them a great experience, they become raving fans and they tell others about you. So how do you turn a one-time buyer into a loyal customer? Because you want them to keep coming back. As I mentioned Amazon, I am a loyal customer. I didn't purchase from them once, okay? And they have great services where the products comes fast. The return is easy. I mean, it's just great. So you become a loyal customer and you want that from your customers. So, I have real estate professionals who I work with. They've sold houses to people, and 20 years later, or 15 years later, when the people are ready to buy another one, they use them again. It's just so important to make these customers loyal customers. So how do you do that? You nurture them. Okay, through your email, you build a relationship with them through your messaging and your comments and your likes on social media. You stay on top of mind through your emails. When you send an email twice a month, I do like once a week, but sometimes that's just a little much. But when you send an email twice a month, you stay on top of mine. I check my email all of the time because I get so many and I don't want to miss anything. But sometimes I can be going on about my day, an email pop up from a store or a retail or a restaurant, and I think, oh, okay, maybe I'll get dinner from there. And it just works. And if they hadn't sent me an email, I wouldn't have thought about it. Lots of restaurants. So you message your people, you DM them on LinkedIn and Instagram. You DM is direct message. You check on them, which I like to spend 1 to 2 days a week. I may sit on my sofa and just go through my followers and send them a message. How are you today? I hope you're having a good day. It's just that simple. And I may pick 5 people from Facebook, 5 from Instagram, but I do it on a regular basis. But I actually intentionally take time to message them sometimes, like their posts sometimes, comment on their posts sometimes, just to let them know, hi, I'm here. This is Marsha Lynn Hudson. Not a hard sell. But if they need help with social media, who are they going to think about? If they need help with someone assessing their platform, if they need one-on-one consultations, if they need a Zoom meeting, if they need to build their business and brand, I am staying on top of mine. Email marketing, like I said, is your best friend as far as keeping loyal customers. When I send an email, I normally start my email off with storytelling. I have a 3-part email, and it takes about 30 minutes. I like templates. And at the beginning of my email, I may start off with something storytelling. I actually sent an email today, and it may be something that people can connect to, like maybe it's a hard time right now, or maybe people are struggling right now, maybe people are overwhelmed. So I start off with a few sentences that people can connect to, and I'm like, these times are difficult. Are you trying to move forward with your business? And I'm thinking people are like, yes, and they're connecting. And then in the middle of my email, I put what I call the meat, where I may give some tips on how to get unstuck in your business. 4 ways to get unstuck. Take a walk, read something, have a day of creativity. So I may give the meat in the middle of my email. And lastly, the 3rd part of my email, I give a call to action, a CTA, where I may say, be sure and watch this YouTube video to help you with Facebook ads, or catch my podcast on this. So, or be sure and follow me on Instagram to get tips on how to work Instagram. So in the email, you can really make a customer or encourage a customer to be a loyal customer, because in the email, I still don't do hard sales. I'm always thinking, give value, because I really am selling. It's just not a hard sale. Okay. So what do I do? Okay. And I want you to think about that for you. Write that down if you're taking notes and you screenshot. What do you do? What do you do? Remember when we used to go networking, and we would go to networking functions, and we would meet people at the functions, and before we became on lockdown, and people would come up and say, hi, well, what do you do? What do you do? And so I thought about that question, and I don't just say, well, I'm a social media strategist. We do so much more. We have to think about, what is it that we do to help our client. So write that down for, what is it that you do? Not just your title, but what do you do? So when people ask me, what do you do? Well, I solve problems. I develop strategies that help business owners build a brand online. I offer solutions, and I answer questions. You have questions, I have some answers. I help entrepreneurs with transformation. Sometimes people are they're stuck, or they don't know how to move forward, or they don't know how to pivot, because we have to pivot in this day and age. So I help them with transformation. I help take the confusion and overwhelm out of online marketing. I tell people, you don't have to be online 5 days a week. You don't have to be on every site. Pick 1 or 2, show up 2 to 3 days a week. That's it. You see, I develop action plans to help people navigate this digital arena. And when I say digital, it's not just social media, it's podcasting, it's blogging, it's videos. I am a social media and branding strategist. Yes, that is what I am. But what I really do is, I want to clarify my message for my clients, my prospects, or even people I meet. So the question I pose to you, what do you do? You want to write those things out and clarify your message. And when you start writing those things out, write out what it is that you do to help your ideal client. That's what you do. Okay. You're not just a real estate professional, because I work with quite a few. That's why I'm thinking of that for an example. You fulfill dreams. You help people get into their dream home. You see what I'm saying? So, what is it that you do? You want to clarify your message. So, I like sayings and quotes. So today is your opportunity to build the tomorrow that you want, and we're at the end. So hopefully you have your questions ready. But today, and I think about that because sometimes we have a dream, or we start something, or even me, and I want to do something, and I look up and a year has passed by, or 8 months have gone by, or 2 years have gone by, and it's like, okay, I want to write a book. If somebody tells me I want to write a book, and they're like, oh, I've been thinking about writing this book for 7 years. Really? We have to start today. And sometimes people will say, I do need to be on social media, Marcia. I do. I set up a Facebook page, but I don't really use it right. Or I set up this. Well, now today is the day to start. Today is the day to get on the right track. Today is the day to start building a brand online, because everybody's online. And when I say today, not actually today, but it could be this month or next month, where you're working this month and you're working a little next month. You look up and you're doing what you want to do, and you're in month 3 doing it, and you're in month 4 doing it. So whatever you're doing now, then when the next year comes, you look up and you're like, wow, I've been doing this for 6 to 8 months, and I'm really building the dream that I want. I'm really living the life that I want. It takes action on a daily basis. So today is your opportunity. So if you're sitting there thinking, I've been wanting to do something for years, I want to encourage you to start now, because that's how you build the tomorrow that you want. And the SBDC here is here to help you. So I promise you, if you stay to the end, you get free resources to grow your business. So if you go to marshalynhudson.com, you can download any or all of my free resources. I have so many resources on email marketing, blogging, branding your business. I have a free strategy workbook for you at this link here. You can take a screenshot. You screenshot there, and then you go to that link. You can download my free strategy workbook. I think it has like 30 pages in it, but it's a great place to start. And plus um I have resources that help you with content creation, prompts, and things like that. So feel free to take a screenshot and head to the website to download your free resources. Maybe not right now, but a little later, because we're getting ready for Q&A. But there at my site, you can find even a free course. I have a free online, how to build your business online. It is a free course. And you might think, well, wow, Marcia, you give away a lot of free stuff. I do, but I have a lot of paid things too. And so I'm hoping that people think, well, if this is free, I can't wait to see what's behind the paid door. I do have courses and journals and bundles and many other things. So how do you connect with me? I would love for you to connect with me, because you learn so much from my sites. And don't forget, on these social media sites, even though you have followers, these sites do not let all of your followers see every time you post. But the more you post and the more you interact, the sites, the algorithms, which are the machines, will let a few more people see. That's why we have to add the low cost ads, which that's another webinar that I think I'm giving in April. But here's a way to connect with me on all of my sites. You can take a screenshot. And I want to thank you guys for joining me today. And I definitely want to thank the North Central Texas Small Business Development Center for having me today also. So we are going to get ready for a Q&A. And if you need to schedule a one-on-one with me, you can contact the center here. You see the information on the screen about contacting them to have a one-on-one virtual Zoom session with me. So thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you for staying to the end, and we are ready for Q&A.
Okay, Marcia, that was some wonderful information. Let's see. I have a few questions. Okay, podcasting. That is so popular now, just like you said. Is podcasting something that can be done for all businesses or products? And how can it be used for advertising?
Oh, that is a great question. Oh my goodness. So let me okay, so podcasting, you're right, is so popular now. Yes, you can use it for any business in any industry, and yes, it is great for advertising. For example, let's say you decide you want to start podcasting, okay, and you can start podcasting for free. Sometimes people think it's a lot of setup, so you go and you find a podcast host that will host your podcast, and there are many online that you can Google for posting, for finding a host for your podcast. Then, secondly, you only need your a computer and maybe a podcast mic. I have a podcast mic right now that I'm actually doing this webinar on, and I found this podcast mic on Amazon for about $45, and I just set it up on my computer desk. So I have my computer, I have my mic, and I have my host. Now, I will tell you Anchor, Anchor. You can check out Anchor. Just Google it, Anchor Podcast, and you can start your podcast free there. So basically, when I do a podcast, I am, if for any industry, I might do a podcast on how to grow your business online. So yes, I'm advertising because I'm actually giving information, and at the beginning of the podcast, it's like a radio show. So I can start the beginning of the pod. My podcasts are normally about 15 minutes. I can start the beginning of the podcast talking about me and my business. That's a little advertisement. Then in the middle of the podcast, I always give value or meat. And then at the end of the podcast, once again, advertising again. And then when you upload your podcast, there's a slot for you to put everything in it. You can put your social sites in the slot. You can put your website in the slot. You can put your email in the slot. So yes, you are advertising when you podcast. I podcast about once a month. I really need to do it a little bit more, but I will tell you this. I love listening to them. When I'm on the treadmill, I'm listening to a podcast. Sometimes when I'm out walking, I'm listening to other people's podcasts, learning. So, yes, any industry can do a podcast, and it is great for advertising.
Okay. What is the best way to get started with social media marketing? I mean, do you just jump out there and start posting, or how do you actually get into the mode where you've got people following you and
Wow.
responding?
Oh, another good question. I love it. Um, okay. What is the best way to get started with social media? That's a great question. Okay. So you want to decide who is your ideal client. Okay, so you write that down. For me, my ideal client is a small business owner, entrepreneur, somebody who's been in business maybe a year or two, trying to move their business. Mainly, my clients are women. We love the men, but mainly I have women. So you have to decide who is your ideal client. And the way to decide who is your ideal client is to see who has purchased from you, who likes to purchase from you. That's your ideal client. Okay, this is before you even hop on social media. So you write down who's my ideal client. What's their age limit? Like mainly mine is 30 up, 35 up. What are their interests? Where do they live? What's their income? So you have to figure out who's your ideal client. And I think about all the time how I love attracting my ideal client because they do well with you and they tell people about you. Then secondly, before you even hop on social media, when you decide, okay, this is my ideal client, it's a woman, she's this age, blah blah blah, then you figure out where is she online, and that's the site you set up. So for me, LinkedIn, my ideal clients are on LinkedIn. I'm a professional headshot photographer. All of my clients need headshots. I'm a social media strategist. They're business owners. LinkedIn is a great place for me where my ideal client hangs out. Secondly, Facebook, because they're just Facebook and everybody's on there. And thirdly, for me, is Instagram. I get, but you may pick two. So once you decide this is my ideal client, this is where she hangs out or he hangs out. Let me set up here. So let's say your clients are business professionals. You need to set up on LinkedIn. Let's say everybody could set up on Facebook because everybody's on Facebook, but every business can also benefit from Instagram. Now, it's not, it used to be young people and pictures, but not anymore. So you pick two and now you're ready to hop in. So now you set it up. You go to linkedin.com and set up your business profile. You go to Facebook and set up your business. You go to Instagram or wherever you feel your clients are. Pinterest is wonderful. Okay. It's a search engine, just like Google. And women go there to shop. So if you have a store or you sell products, that's a great place. So now you figured out who your ideal client is, number one. Number two, you figured out where they hang out. And number three, now you set up the site. So then from there, then you go and learn. And I talked about it in the webinar. What do I post? And you post from those 5 pillars. So you may show up and say, every Monday, I'm going to post a motivational saying to my Facebook and LinkedIn. Let's say you just set up those two. And then, you have a picture, you have content and hashtags. That's a whole nother website, a webinar. And then you go to your Facebook and you post that. And then you go to your LinkedIn and you post that. And then let's say Wednesday, you're going to post. And you might say, okay, I'm going to post from the about pillar that Marsha talked about. And you might talk about your why or why you started your business. You go to Facebook, you post it there. You go to your LinkedIn, you post it there. So now you're into social media now. And you're posting, you're creating interest, people are finding out about you. And then you just go further into learning how to move from the beginning stage to a more advanced stage, like doing video on your social media, you see, or adding a blog or things like that. But that's how you step into social media. Step one, figure out who's your ideal client. Step two, figure out what sites they hang out on. Step three, set up those 2 sites. And step four, start posting.
Okay, that's good information. And I think you've actually answered the next question, which is, what are the best social media platforms to use? And you've already answered that. Okay, so the last question that we have so far is, what is your recommendation for handling negative comments about your business on social media?
Okay, I always have somebody ask me that. And I know it's unavoidable. So I did some research, because every time I give you advice, I've done the research, because I don't want to just give you Marsha, Lee, and Hudson information. So I did some research on what to do if you get a negative comment. Okay. Number one, you can ignore it, but I don't really suggest that. Number two, or, because it eventually can go away. Number two, the research says to respond, but respond in a positive manner. And I will give you an example, okay? Because it happens. And, hopefully it doesn't happen too much. And hopefully, if there are not a lot of negative comments, people won't put much credibility into it. So let me give you an example of a restaurant, okay? So let's say somebody put a negative comment online about a restaurant, and they went to the restaurant and didn't enjoy the service or the food or whatever. Okay. And so there it is. And I've seen the people reach out and respond this way: I'm sorry. We are sorry that you experienced poor service at our restaurant. That is not what we want for our customers. Or, we're sorry that you didn't enjoy the meal or whatever. Please feel free to contact us so we can resolve this and make your experience better for the future. You see how that works well? And so let's say I did that and I called, because you want to take them offline. You don't want to have this whole conversation online. Be sure and contact our manager, because we want to make your experience better. So let's say I called the manager and I was like, which I never put negative comments online. If something is negative for me, I just call them, because I just don't like to do that. But some people do. And I said, I came to your restaurant, my husband and I came, and this and this happened. And what if the manager says, I'm so sorry about that. Please come in. We're going to comp your meal next time. See how it gets fixed? See how it gets fixed? And so sometimes people will go on and say, wow, they made it right. So responding in a short, positive manner, don't make it about you. Well, we don't normally do, make it about them. I'm sorry, we're sorry that you experienced that. That is not what we want for our business. Please contact us. You see what I'm saying? And then hopefully they'll contact and you make it right. And sometimes we're out and something is not right and they make it right. They say, well, let us give you a dessert or whatever. Now on the flip side, when they don't make it right, you just make the people more upset. They don't come back, they tell their friends, and so it's worse. So you could either ignore it or make a response, a short positive response, and take them offline with the conversation. Now hopefully it's not too many negative comments. Sometimes people are just upset and they think they could just go on social media and ruin your business. But the good thing about that is it doesn't stay. Because think about social media. The posts just go down, down, down. But you may think, well, what if it's on Yelp? Or what if it's on Google? Well, it takes a little bit longer to go down, but try to resolve it offline.
Okay, that's good information. That is such a good recommendation because there's no need to respond to negativity with negativity. Might as well let's fix the problem. Um, okay, this is I cater, teach, etiquette, and image consulting. I use the same page on Instagram. Would you suggest this or use a separate page for uh, separate accounts for each?
Can you repeat the question? Are they saying, does this business owner have two different businesses? Is that what they're saying? And should they have two pages, one for each business?
Sorta. I think what's happening. Okay, said yes. That's it.
Okay, that's a great question. I'll use myself as an example because you want to make sure you're active on the sites. I have two businesses, okay? I'm a social media strategist and I'm a professional photographer. So I don't use different pages for both all of the time, but for some I do. For Facebook, I have a professional photography Facebook page and I have a social media page. They're separate, you see, but I work them. And I also have an assistant who helps because it's too much, I couldn't do it all myself. So I have two. Now for LinkedIn, I only have one. I have Marsha Lynn Hudson social media strategy, but I do mention my Facebook. Now for Instagram, I have one. I have my social media page. No, for LinkedIn, I have two. I have a photography page and a social media page. For Pinterest, I have one. For Twitter, I have one. So if you have two businesses, you just have to decide. You may have to have two because you can't post, the same thing for different business. I don't post about my photography business much on Instagram. I really don't. I mainly post about social media tips. On LinkedIn, we have a professional photography page. I mainly post about ways to do photography, but I also have a Marsha Lynn Hudson social media page for LinkedIn. But you have to keep in mind, I have help posting. I just couldn't do them all. So I will say to you, if you have Instagram and you have two businesses, you may have to have two different pages, unless you can combine your content and it works for the two. So if you have Instagram, you may have two pages. If you have LinkedIn, now you can have one page for LinkedIn. You could be the face of it and then talk about your two businesses. So you can have one page for LinkedIn. For Facebook, you will have to have two. It's just two different. So I have a Facebook photography page. I have a Facebook social media page. So for Facebook, maybe two. For LinkedIn, one. For Instagram, two. Unless we can figure out how to merge into the page, because I don't want you to have so many pages and trying to post, because you need to post to any page you set up. It's worse to have it active and not posting. So did I answer the question? What, tell me again, this business owner's two businesses.
She teaches etiquette and also does image consulting.
Okay, edit and image consulting. And so they're similar. So for LinkedIn, she can have one page for LinkedIn, and she can post sometimes giving tips and posting from the pillars from the first one, and sometimes giving tips from the image consultant for the second one. She can have one page for LinkedIn. For Facebook business page, teaches etiquette and image. She could have one page for Facebook. So she can have one page for Facebook if she's using it. I have that one page for LinkedIn, and if she's using Instagram too. What sites is she on?
Can you tell me what sites you're using now?
Yes, it's me. It's Lorna. So
Okay.
I do have Instagram,
Okay.
and I use Instagram for all three business right now. I also have a Facebook that I use for the same purposes as well. I do have a LinkedIn, but it's not maintained. So I'm
Okay.
thinking now I could use the
Mhm.
etiquette and image consulting on
Mhm.
on LinkedIn, and I
Mhm.
don't have an active Pinterest page as well. So I'm very open.
Okay, I see.
Thank you.
You definitely need LinkedIn because remember I talked about when you're getting ready to hop on social media, you got to figure out who's my ideal client and where do they hang out. Your ideal client hangs out on LinkedIn because if you teach etiquette and you're image consultant, you have business professionals, and business professionals hang out on LinkedIn. So I get a lot of business from LinkedIn as a headshot photographer and a social media person. So you want to put your efforts into LinkedIn for sure. And then you can pick one other. You don't have to be everywhere. So if Instagram is working well for you, then maybe you can do that. Or Facebook is really limiting what they let people see now. Okay, 2021, if you have 1,000 followers on Facebook, they may let 5% of the people see. You have to do low cost ads. So Facebook is really limiting how many people can see your post. But not LinkedIn. It isn't doing that. So LinkedIn for sure. You don't have to do Pinterest right now. LinkedIn for sure. If you're doing Facebook, that's fine. If you want to do three, you can do Instagram because you can post to Facebook and Instagram at the same time on Creator Studio free. You can go to Creator Studio, post to Facebook, post to Instagram. But you do not, and I say this to everybody, you do not want to post the same thing every time on every site. You see what I mean? You don't want to say, let me post the same thing here, same thing here. You need to change it up a little. So people have asked me that, can I just post the same thing on every site? The algorithms won't work with you well if you do that. So I teach people how to change it up a little so you don't have to keep coming up with content. But I would say for her, LinkedIn for sure. She said she wasn't active. Today is the day to get active on LinkedIn, and maybe Facebook or Instagram, and then work that plan 3 days a week. And of course, you could set up a session with me to think about a plan or a strategy.
Okay.
And I think I read that question wrong. She also caters.
Oh, okay. She got a lot going on.
Yeah, she's
She
a
got,
very busy
she
lady.
got a lot going. Okay. Well, I will tell you this. She definitely needs to be online and do step one, create awareness. Because your business this is what people look for online. I know if I'm looking for food or caterer, I'm going online. If I'm looking for an image consultant, I'm going online. So you definitely need to show up online. Um, oh, she's a caterer too. Yeah, she's gonna need to separate some things. And for me, I'm a professor. I hired a student who helps me. You may even hire a student to help you with some of your social media a few days a week because you have to be online and you have three businesses and you are going to have to kind of separate them. So even just hiring a student 2-3 days a week if that's, you know, in your budget, it doesn't, you can pay them $10-12 an hour and just use them for a few hours each week, but it will really help you create the awareness that you need. And then that business will come back and pay for that student. So with these 3 businesses, and it's fine to have 3 businesses, you're going to have to create awareness online. If you start now, we're early in the year, you're going to be amazed at what's going to happen after 3 months or 6 months of actually being active. So yeah, some of these are going to have to be separated. And if you can do them yourself, you can use auto schedules like Buffer or Later or Creator Studio. That way you can schedule it like at night if you have time and tell it, send this tomorrow at 10, send this Wednesday at this. That way, or you can schedule it on the weekends. If you're a caterer, you're probably not even free on the weekend. So you're doing the most. So either I tell people this, hire somebody to help if it's in your budget, or use an auto schedule. But you have to show up online. That's just not an option.
Okay, well, I think that takes care of all of our questions. Let's see, if you'll let me, I'm going to start sharing my screen here, and we'll go over what's coming up from the SBDC.
Okay, so what do I need to do?
Just
Stop sharing.
Stop sharing. There you go.
That's a good thing. Stop sharing, Marsha.
There you go. Just want to cover all of these are the upcoming webinars. I think this will actually finish out our Restaurant Reality series. We have one on the 25th, that's Thursday, Marketing Best Practices with Chris Tripoli. We have our very popular PPP Forgiveness and PPP, the newest updates, coming next week. And then we have something that is a pretty popular question that we get a lot, is funding your startup with your retirement. Then this will actually be the last one for Restaurant Reality. It's a makeup from last week's big snowstorm. Know your numbers. And then on the 9th, we have creating content that will grow your audience online, and we're bringing Marsha back for that. So thank you so much, Marsha. We do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Everyone will be receiving a survey, and if you would please go ahead